I got a box of portable radios on eBay and kind of got some buyer's remorse. I was looking for vintage radios for one, and when I saw this ad, I think I had originally thought that maybe these were like from the 90s or something. I didn't look at the picture too well, and I guess I got confused, and I don't know if I sent an offer on the wrong one or if I don't know. It was kind of late at night. So the seller wanted $30 for these, and I sent an offer of 15. And 24 hours later, the seller accepted it. So I think shipping was $7. I think there's 8 or 9 radios in here, so I got them for $23 or whatever, 24 with tax or something out the door. But they're all modern radios. They all have ICs, and they all work. Unfortunately, or at least it's what the seller said. So I don't know. There's not much I can do with these as far as making YouTube videos and repairing them, which is kind of what I've been doing here normally. But I thought, well, we could go through these one by one. Let's check the functionality, look up maybe the brand or who made them or something like that, and then we'll take them apart and see what kind of IC is inside of them and that sort of thing. And so I'm going to start with this one. So almost all these actually had batteries in them. And so there's all the batteries except for the 3 that are in here. So there's quite a few Duracells. So some person must have been really kind of like a prepper or something to have all these radios with batteries in them. And a lot of these they have clocks, and I think the clocks they even had the correct time. So but this one and it was just kind of, honestly, it was just random and I grabbed it first. But this one's pretty interesting because it has NOAA band, the weather band. Here in the United States, we have these weather alert frequencies, and there's 4 or 5 different ones, and depending on what's in your area, you tune to that one. And it's a weather alert reel that kind of goes over and over. Or it does do alerts, but normally it just reads the weather over and over. It's like a computerized voice. So the way this one functions is, here's your power button. You get little LCD screen.
5 Thanksgivings ago.
The reception's really good on it. It'll scan, so you can do one frequency, or you can hold it and it'll do seek. So that's pretty cool. And then you can change bands here. I don't know what 2.3 is. That I have to look that one up. And then here's the weather band. 162.4 megahertz is our weather station here in Oklahoma City. And I've scrolled through all of them, and none of them actually have, I guess the seek doesn't work on this one, but none of these are being picked up by this radio. It's again, 162.4 is ours. So I went and got my ham radio and tuned it to 162.4, and it's the same thing. It kind of sounds like the repeater's closed, because you can see if I go off frequency, you hear it's static, but it's like nothing's being broadcast. So I don't know if it's just not operational right now. I don't know. And then you get AM, and then the AM has a scan as well, and the reception is pretty good. And, some of that, you're hearing some motor noise come through. And that's the electromagnetic interference you're hearing is from my air conditioner, which is outside the window here. Maybe even from the dryer that's running. But this, I guess you can program I mean, it kind of looks like a clock. I don't know what that is. 90? I don't know what that is. That the current temperature, maybe? Yeah, and the LCD has like a timeout to say it says to save battery. So this will lock your weather frequency. So if you're on the weather band and you tune it to something, and after you move that switch, you can't change it anymore. And then this, I believe, did the batteries just go dead? Okay. Yes, the batteries just went dead. So, but this one will move it. It's like a quick moves it to the weather alert is what it looked like that button did, and then it has an external antenna here, which I tried on some of the AM stuff, and it didn't. I mean, you wouldn't think that little bitty antenna would make much difference on AM, and it didn't. And the reception was really good on FM, so it didn't really seem to be. Yeah, I guess the battery went dead. And then you've got a headphone jack on it here, and then this light, which was blinking. I don't think that might actually be to tell you that the battery was getting low. But I couldn't find any instructions online. I Googled and Googled and Googled. There's no brand on this. That's the only thing written on it. And there's just nothing. I mean, I guess it was made in China, but doesn't even tell you that. So anyway, we'll see if we can't get a case opener and pop this guy open, and we'll see what we got on the inside. So I got it apart. There's a plastic plug in each one of these holes you have to prise out. I used a box cutter because my case openers and stuff are at work. And then there's a screw in the battery compartment. And then you also have to pry this off the top, which was a pain. I tried, to be as delicate as I could. So, but other than that, it's not too hard to take apart. So what we have here, there's mainly two ICs of note. This is a microprocessor. It's an 8051 architecture microprocessor, and this is the IC for all the radio bands. And I don't know why I didn't pick up on this, but 2.3 kilohertz, that's shortwave. So this thing does NOAA weather band, AM, FM, and shortwave. And the communication between the microprocessor and the radio IC is with I2C bus. And then everything else on the board basically just supports the operation of those two ICs. There's some JFETs. I'm not exactly sure what they do. Wasn't able to really figure that out. This IC is a knockoff of like an NS80002 audio amplifier. So I found a little bit of data on it, and it's again, it's essentially just like a Chinese knockoff. It says it puts out 3 watts at 3 ohms. The speaker has no information on it. One thing interesting about this speaker is how narrow it is. I mean, this thing is very narrow, which is pretty cool. And then you've got on the inside here, you've got the AM ferrite rod antenna coil probably used for the AM and the shortwave would be my guess. And that's mostly really all there is to say about that, I think. We can look at the data sheet for for these ICs a little bit. So this one is made by a company that's Chip or something. I've never heard of it. And they're $1.50 on this website. Seems kind of pricey for an 8051 architecture chip, but if you don't know much about these, 8051 architecture was invented by Intel in, I believe, the early 80s. And these are super, super common microprocessor architectures. You'll see these in all sorts of things. I'm sure they're in everything from TV remote controls, coffee maker timers, and alarm clocks, and probably just about everything you can think of. I know they've somewhat been replaced by some more modern style, and this is kind of a variant. So I don't remember if it gives any information. Yeah, it doesn't seem to give a lot of information here, but this one is like an improved. It's the 1T 8051. It's basically like an improved version. The architecture is fully compatible with an old style 8051, but I think it uses less power and has quite a bit more processing power simultaneously. And these are 8-bit microcontrollers with, I think, 16-bit. Remember, 16-bit. That doesn't really make sense. Well, anyway, they're 8-bit microprocessors. And then here, this is the data sheet, but this is all, it's all in Chinese, I think, pretty much. And then the same company, this CA chip or whatever you want to call it, they also are making the radio IC. I really couldn't find any of these for sale, but this kind of lists out some of the features. And it's basically telling you it does AM, FM, shortwave, weather band. I think it says it supports international use, but I would think the weather band, I thought that was kind of a US thing. But it does tell you that it uses I²C, needs a voltage between 2.3 and 3.6, and it only comes in one package style. And other than that, I don't even think I could find the data sheet on it. So apparently, and I tried to find one of these to actually buy to play around with, or to find a data set or data sheet, but I couldn't. I couldn't find anything on it. So apparently, it's just some Chinese company that makes those, and maybe they only sell them to companies that manufacture these types of radios. So anyway, that's pretty much that's all there is to say about this one. I think it's pretty cool. I like the color too, and honestly, it's very light. I could, the sound quality and the operation of it's really nice, and the fact that it does AM and everything and shortwave, super cool. So I don't know what this would have costed new, but I don't like the fact that it uses AAAs. I wish it was AA's, but that's neither here nor there. But anyway, I'm going to put this back together, and in the next video, we'll pull out the next radio in the box.